So Elon Musk continues to trip over his own dick. He's made that abundantly clear with probably the majority of his actions since taking over Twitter. So you guys know he made a big deal about free speech, yes, free speech, yes, the most important thing in the world. And look, a lot of people were big fans of him as a result of his rhetoric on that issue. But what became pretty obvious quickly is that he doesn't exactly live by his words, right? There were a number of articles that reported on the way he silences critics. He, as a boss, he's really not open to dissent and free speech. In fact, he's rather punitive when it comes to that stuff. Then he started making many decisions on Twitter that were anti-free speech, like banning all of the journalists who reported on the feud between him and the Elon Jet account. Elon had previously said this Elon Jet account is free speech. Then he banned that one and said it was doxing. And then he started banning all these journalists who were reporting on it, including very high-profile journalists. He banned links to other competing social media websites like Mastodon and apps like Mastodon and a whole bunch of them. And it's just, he's very impulsive. I mean, he said a number of times, like, I will have a committee anytime we make a big decision from here on out, we'll have a committee decide. And then he just didn't get a committee. he just kept making decisions on his own. Now, he just picked a new CEO. It's a woman. Now, what's interesting about this woman is Elon definitely thought, oh, I'm going to appease the people who are my biggest fans with this choice as CEO. Why? Because this is apparently a woman who's well-versed in the same circles that Elon runs in. So she follows all these right-wing media figures, including the cat turd weirdo. And so there's probably a little bit of a political litmus test, and she passed it. And so he was like, great, I'll have her stand in as CEO. Now, by the way, he still going to have a lot of direct sway over the company, but he wanted somebody else as CEO. Remember, we did that Twitter poll asking, should I step down as CEO? People said yes. And so apparently he's been looking for a CEO since then. But there was one massive oversight that he had, which is this woman who we picked to be the new CEO worked at the World Economic Forum. Well, if you know anything about Elon's fans, they view that as like a liberal, Marxist, globalist plot. And so anybody who's at the World Economic Forum is a bad guy by definition. Now, look, I have many issues with the World Economic Forum, but my issues are basically the opposite of the right-wing issues. My issue is that it's capitalism on steroids, right? It's like, it's the billionaires and the corporations and these ghouls who already run the world getting together being like, how should we further run the world? So like, I have a problem with it from a power perspective and from a left-wing perspective. I think it's an issue with capitalism, but the right looks at it and thinks it's like they're all communists or something. And so anyway, now they've all turned on him over that. But Elon made it even worse for himself because all that talk about free speech, free speech, free speech. There was reporting recently, and we covered it, that Elon basically caved to the Modi government. Now, Modi is, of course, a Hindu nationalist, right-wing government in India, and he caved, and whenever they, made requests of censorship, he was like, yes, sir, okay. Well, now he did it again. So the Turkish elections just happened. By the way, there's going to be a runoff election. Erdogan is in the lead, but he didn't win it on the first ballot. So like I said, there's going to be a runoff. So we don't know the results yet, but Erdogan got the most votes, but the election is still going to be ongoing, right? The day before the election, the Turkish government asked Twitter to censor its opponents. What did Elon do? Did he say, freeze, please, yes? No, he did quite the opposite. He complied. And Twitter's Global Government Affairs account literally tweeted, in response to legal process and to ensure Twitter remains available to the people of Turkey, we have taken action to restrict access to some content in Turkey today. So that's them being like, yeah, that's what we did. That's what we did. So this is a little bit of a slam dunk moment, right? The Turkish government gave him an ultimatum. Either you ban the accounts we want you to ban, or we're just going to shut down Twitter completely. So Elon chimes in response to Matthew Iglesias, who pointed this out. And Elon says, Did your brain fall out of your head, Iglesias? The choice is have Twitter throttled in its entirety or limit access to some tweets. Which one do you want? He is smugly admitting it. Like, he thinks this is a rebuttal. This is not a rebuttal. This is just, yes, sir, all the criticisms are exactly correct. So what would you do? You do the thing that you pretended like you would have done all along when you were, puffing your chest out at the beginning and screaming free speech. You say, we believe in free speech here. I'm not going to censor on your behalf. That's not what we do. He didn't. He did the opposite. Now, by the way, here's an interesting fact. Josh Marshall, Talking Points memo. He says, on Elon Musk's claim that everybody does it, actually in 2014, Erdogan made the same demands of Twitter. Twitter refused, and he did briefly ban the site, but the whole thing backfired on Erdogan. Twitter also told Turkish users ways to evade the ban. That's how you handle it. There was a tweet from Ryan Grimm as well, which explained that with the previous management and regime at Twitter, they complied with about 50% of government requests to censor. Elon is apparently complying with 100% of those requests. And he's being smug about it as if it's not a total and utter contradiction of what he stated his beliefs and goals and ideology would be. It is truly, truly astonishing and truly embarrassing. Now, I love this tweet as well. The co-founder of Wikipedia just schooled Elon Musk about free speech. Now, I have issues with Wikipedia. They're not perfect. But look at this response. What Wikipedia did. We stood strong for our principles and fought to the Supreme Court of Turkey and won. This is what it means to treat freedom of expression as a principle rather than a slogan. So this is the founder of Wikipedia saying, oh, we had similar issues with the Turkish government. We fought to the Supreme Court and we won. And what did Elon do? One call from a Turkish government official, maybe even Erdogan himself. One call. Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. I will ban for you, sir. Literally the polar opposite of what you were pretending you would have done. He's just embarrassing, man. Not only is he impulsive, he also strikes me as just genuinely dense. Right? Genuinely dense. There's no other way to describe the colossally erratic and silly actions he's taken since taking over Twitter. And honestly, if you go through his career with a fine-tooth comb, you'll find a lot more questionable stuff. By the way, I love the story that happened not too long ago where people keep bringing up that some of his wealth comes from the fact that his dad owned an emerald mine. And Elon, again, smugly, with this fake news story, won't die, bro. What are you talking about? This isn't even true, bro. His dad came out and said, it absolutely is true. Elon, please stop face planting. Stick to posting your weirdo Pepe memes from 2014. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.